And if we are, let's welcome to another CryptoVagabonds channel event. And in this event, we're going to be doing an update on the market. We're also going to be discussing a few other themes that we have prepared for you guys. Among them, of course, the hack of Dogecoin and a few others, and update on the market. So let's continue. I think I can hear my echo. That means we're live. Okay, go for it. Alchemist, you want to start this?
Yeah, so let's we can go to coin market cap. Just want to make sure that everything's good. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, now we can.
Now you can. Okay, so give me 1 second, you guys. Window looks like it's freezing up. Try to refresh. Technical difficulties, first thing. There we go.
And
All right.
I think one thing we just noticed is Bitcoin continues to break its new all-time high.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, it looks like it's getting close. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
Okay, so we got 3.7 trillion market cap pushing up each time. It's going to be before, I think, when we looked at this last week, it was a little bit under that. So crypto, the market cap overall is going to continue to climb. Volumes way up. Bitcoin dominance did regain a little bit from, I think it was 52 last week, I believe, last time we looked, right? I think it was like 52, 53. So Bitcoin gained a little bit of traction as some of the alts lost a little bit of momentum. Gwei is like kind of medium. Fear greed still pretty high, 80. So again, in terms of getting buys, from a sentiment analysis point of view, we're probably looking to this to get closer to the 50s, 60s, 65. That's what we're looking for. We want a little bit more fear in the market. Right now we're still, I mean, we were up here in the 90s. We've cooled down a little bit, so we'll see what happens. But over the next probably month or two, probably looking to look to see this thing go a little bit lower. We want to see this a little bit lower. If you're looking for discounts. So go down here. Let's look at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's 105. Wow, we're pumping. Bitcoin's pumping.
It's an all-time high, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ethereum managed to break 4,000 again.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for this to break its all-time high for 5K. So it's got a little bit of catching up to do, but yeah, these are strong. Tether, XRP, Solana, BNB down here. Let's look at the biggest movers in the top 100. Virtuals. So do you guys remember the AI meme coins that we were talking about, the agents?
Yep.
I do remember, yeah.
So this is essentially like basically the infrastructure for that. That's why this thing's pumping so hard. So we talked about it about 2 weeks before, and now these agent meme coins are starting to go like a little bit viral. And this is basically like the infrastructure for the agents. So it's like an infrastructure project for the agents. So pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking into this one. I'm looking into this one in the near future. So that one's done very well. It's already up to 59, which I don't know how much market share it's gained, but it's gained a lot over since we first started talking about these. Gained a lot of market share. Like I think like a week or two ago, it was in the top 100. It just broke the top 100. It's already 59. So yeah, it's getting up there. Got Aave, got Athena, got Ondo, 25%. ENS. This is basically one of the infrastructure things for Ethereum. This is a pretty good token. I think Vitalik said himself that this token in particular, like it's actually pretty important for Ethereum. So an interesting one. Bitget, Sui. Go ahead, Cora.
You know why? Like why it's important? I don't really know.
Yeah. So basically it's it's a servant. It's basically like a part of the way that it's from what I understand, it's basically the way that um like Ethereum applications like identify themselves on the blockchain, I think is a simple way to put it. Um, but Vitalik did go out and say maybe it'd be good for me to go back and look at it. Um, but he did say that that project was pretty important for the entire Ethereum like ecosystem and stuff. So Sui, this one's to me, I don't know. Boof, have you researched this one, Sui?
No, I have not researched this one. I have some plans. I have Sui. I think you know one of them.
Yeah.
So I kind of helped them to get this into their um, Trezor wallet. So, but I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with Sui. It seems to be its own
Yeah.
blockchain as well. It's not like I think it's like a coin, not a token, right?
It's a blockchain. Yeah, it's a
The
blockchain.
blockchain, yeah.
I mean, basically the narrative to this one is like it's own L1 blockchain that is really VC backed and it's on centralized exchanges. And it's supposed to have like pretty good tech. That's basically the narrative to this one. But the more like I did research into this one a little bit deeper. And it is kind of like, I'm going to be honest, it is kind of smelling like Solana last cycle. Yeah. Like a lot of
Okay.
fees and stuff. And I think this thing is going to surprise people. I actually think this thing's going to do pretty well. Actually, I do. Yeah. I mean, if it was, if I had to guess the way it's looking, it kind of looks like Solana, like baby Solana, basically is Sui. Yeah. And I'm a little late, I mean, I want to try to get this thing a little bit cheaper. Like if I can, like, three, like between the $3 to $4 range is where I'd like to grab it if I can. But yeah, this thing looks like it's gonna do pretty well. So so yeah. Then you got Chainlink, you got all the other ones. Phantom sitting at $1.44. So
Yeah,
that's
Phantom's
right.
doing really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and that's before and like this week Sonic. So it'll be interesting to see what the price does.
Right,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, well, so right now it's sitting at $1.44. Be pretty cool if this thing got to $2 at $1.80. We'll see. But yeah, so we got that. And that's pretty much that's the market update for the top 100. We can go into the 200 if you want, or we could just keep it at the 100 booth. What do you want to do?
No, I think the hundred's okay. I think we need to talk about the other things that we decide to talk, which is talk about the Doge hack. We talk about percentages versus fiat denomination. I think that's another thing we need to talk to people. And also on that note, we can talk about people getting Bitcoin at the price they deserve. I think you had some pushback on that. So I would say we can choose the order. I think we can talk about the Doge hack. I think it's something that we need to clarify to people. And since you're already sharing your screen, I think you can just share the screen with the audio and we
The-
can
Yeah,
share that with people here, like what actually happened.
yeah,
And
we can do that.
hopefully we don't get shut down for copyrights. Let's see.
So yeah, so guys, Dogecoin got hacked. There was a vulnerability found in the Dogecoin code with so we're gonna play a little clip here. There will be someone else explaining it, and then we're gonna add our 2 cents after. So
hello world, Satonic here. Let's jump right into today's hacking news roundup. First up, someone tweeted that they used a publicly disclosed vulnerability to take down 69% of the Dogecoin network from an old ThinkPad in rural El Salvador, and he wasn't making this up. According to Blockchain, the number of public Dogecoin nodes dropped from 647 to just 205. The network was seemingly under attack, but the price of Dogecoin was totally unaffected. So what was going on here? Well, last week, security researchers disclosed the Doge Reaper vulnerability, which allowed anyone to crash a node in the Dogecoin network with nothing more than an IP address and port. Just type your targets into the Doge Reaper tool, and a segmentation fault would cause the node to try and access memory that it wasn't allowed to, resulting in the target node crashing. The vulnerability was responsibly disclosed, a patch was released, and many nodes did update, but not all of them, leaving the door open for Andreas Cole to come along a week later and do some mischief. Whilst it's claimed that he took out 69% of public nodes, I should point out that this is according to Blockchain, which some people say underestimates the true number of public nodes. Other sources say there's well over 10,000 of them, in which case 69% would be a huge exaggeration, but there is apparently some indication that these guys are overestimating and including inactive nodes in their list. But regardless of whose numbers you trust, had this been widely exploited before nodes were able to update, there might have been more of an impact. With public nodes knocked offline en masse, transactions might have had trouble propagating throughout the network, and it's not like your Dogecoins would have just disappeared, but you might have had trouble spending and receiving them for a little while until patches were applied and nodes restarted. The security researcher who discovered the bug was able to get a payout from Coinbase's bug bounty program, since their own Dogecoin nodes are considered within scope. They initially classified this as critical, but downgraded it, so he only ended up with a measly $200. But throughout all of this, Dogecoin remained unfazed. So don't worry, guys, your meme coins are safe. Well, for now.
Yeah, I think that's
Don't
it
worry,
pretty much.
guys. Your meme coins are safe for now.
Yeah, I think you want to expand on the vulnerabilities of blockchain, so go for it.
Yeah, so basically, like, to explain that in basic terms, what basically they did was a guy found a vulnerability in the Dogecoin code where basically, like, the nodes, like a certain amount of nodes, all you needed was the IP address and a port to access it, and you could command the node. You could basically command the node to do something that it wasn't supposed to do, which allowed it, which basically made it crash, and then the nodes crash. So if you were able to locate a lot of the IPs of the nodes, you were basically able to crash like a large percentage of the Dogecoin nodes on the blockchain. And what the nodes do is they verify the transactions. So there was a period of time where a lot of the Dogecoin nodes weren't validating transactions, so the price wasn't really affected, but it did basically like prevent the network from operating functionally, and that's basically what it did. And if this wasn't and this is kind of one thing that we could talk about in terms of blockchain security. So one thing that I hear a lot of people talk about in crypto is that proof of work is more secure than proof of stake because it's more expensive to attack. And from a 51% attack point of view, they're right. However, there are other aspects of security of a blockchain that a lot of people don't talk about, such as this. Now, on blockchains, there's usually something called a critical vulnerabilities list. The critical vulnerabilities are oftentimes like more serious and can result in rolling the chain back or having to do some sort of soft fork or hard fork of some sort. So when people talk about security in blockchains, it's not necessarily just getting 51% or 70% of the, and it doesn't have to be 51%. It can be less or more than that. It doesn't mean that it's going to be successful or not. Yeah. But typically they mean 51% of the hash rate, which means that if you control 51% of the hash rate, then you essentially, like, that is a security issue with blockchains. Mm. But it's not the only thing that involves security of blockchains. Can
you stop sharing so we're not advertising BlockBag? So sure. Then we can continue the conversation. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say, like, when people see like security in blockchains, they see just that. But that's not the only thing that, like, for example,
what are the other things you see as being vulnerabilities?
So the thing that just happened with Doge, like, that was like an issue in the code, as an example. Like, that's like, I think it, like, we'll just use Bitcoin as an example. I think if you Google like Bitcoin critical vulnerabilities list, it's long and it's really extensive. And I'm pretty sure like those things, like in terms of Bitcoin, I think there are a large amount of critical vulnerabilities. And if those critical vulnerabilities were to be exploited, that would be that could result in like a rollback or a soft fork, or I mean, it already happened on Bitcoin before. But yeah, so that's basically my point. Like, if there's a vulnerability found like there was on Doge, then that also influences the security of the network as well. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not just the 51% or if they use ABFT, it's more than 51%, but that's basically, yeah.
You're muted. Oof.
I'm just searching here for the list that Alchemy is talking about, so we can talk about that. Yeah. So I hope you guys can see my screen.
Almost. Now we can see it.
Okay. So that's what I'm talking about, the common vulnerabilities.
Yeah, critical vulnerabilities, common vulnerabilities and exposures, Bitcoin. Yep. Security vulnerabilities. Like these are the things that are on Bitcoin that if they were exploited, like if these things were exploited, then basically like that these are other things that people have to consider when you talk about like besides just a 51% attack. And I think this example of Dogecoin is a good example that it's not just about like being expensive, like meaning like you need a lot of hash rate to attack it. There's also other things that are involved in the security of blockchains. You know what I mean? As an example. Using Dogecoin as an example, I should say.
I see here, yep. Yeah, it's a very long list. But I think those things happen and have been fixed because each one now has a date, right? So yeah, I think severity, net 100%, exposure. Yeah, I'm just curious, like, because since there are a lot of vulnerabilities and they all have different dates to them, my question is, how significant are they, right? I think that's a question. I'll have to research more of this and see like what are the drastic consequences, right? There's a difference between a vulnerability and something that they can actually affect the network. Like for instance, Dogecoin did get attacked. 60% of the nodes got down, but that didn't affect the network, nor did it affect the price. I'm just curious, like.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin had happened twice where there was essentially an inflation bug where you could have printed as many free Bitcoin as you wanted. And like the thing is like I'm not a computer, a software engineer or anything, but I don't know what is considered a hack or not. But what I do know is that if you find something in the code where you can print billions of Bitcoin and then they have to roll the chain back and do a soft fork, I mean, that kind of sounds like a hack to me. I mean, I don't know what is considered a hack and what isn't, but that seems like it sounds to me like in Bitcoin's early days, it got hacked and then they had to roll the chain back. And then that was a soft fork. You see what I mean?
I certainly, so
yeah.
I can speak about that because I have been part of the hack community for a while. So there's a difference between the word hack and the word crack. And what happened is the media and most people, and even the Oxford Dictionary, listed hack as something different than what it is, right? So there is the language of hackers. Like for instance, I myself and a few other people that I know that are hackers, we call ourselves hackers. That means we find vulnerabilities, report vulnerabilities to the companies or to the people involved, and say, listen, I would like to see what is my reward for pointing this vulnerability, right? What most people call hack is actually crackers. So there's a difference between a cracker cracking something, because that causes damage, and hack doesn't cause damage. Sometimes some hacks is just for fun. Like
Hacking is worse than hacking.
So crack is what we hackers call when something got exploited. Like, so for instance, if someone takes money or do something unethical, that is cracking, not hacking. However, the dictionaries in the media have a different language than us hackers.
I see.
We consider hacking being able to do something most of the time harmless and not being ethical, and sometimes just jokes, right? So for instance, let's see a joke here. Like for instance, putting a car on top of a building, right? It doesn't have to be something like with just digital electronic. That is a hack. Like something that you scratch your head, like, how did they do this, right? That's a hack. Now, a crack would be causing damage. So what happened with the Bitcoin network that you're talking about, I know there was a vulnerability exploited by a cracker. And yeah, I think he issued a few billions. And because that violates the principle, what happened is they fix the code and roll back the chain. And that is the beauty of decentralization, right? The community decided we cannot have this happen. This is against the principle of BTC. And that's why when it came, I think a few weeks ago, the argument like, oh, there is no guarantee there's going to be only 21 million Bitcoin. I can guarantee you there will only be 21 billion Bitcoin, 21 million. However, you can have 21 million BC, whatever, like BCH, BSV. You can create a fork that can have more. Litecoin is a fork of is a copy and paste of Bitcoin. Doge, which you just mentioned, is also a copy and paste. So you can have a fork, and you can
Yeah,
do your
I thought at
parameters. But
the New York,
Bitcoin would be 21 million.
well, I thought the New York exchange was basically deciding like what the exchanges are going to consider BTC and BCH, because the humans are the ones who decide the ticker, from what I understand, on the exchanges and stuff, like which ones are listed. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like
and for a long time, and for a long time, there were no different tickers. Like
Yeah.
when the fork happened with Bitcoin Cash and with BTC, there was no different tickers. So what happened was, as I say, everything is decided by humans. The rolling back of the chain was decided by humans. We don't have androids deciding things on the Bitcoin blockchain yet. However, the consensus is, where does the majority go? Where does the most capital go? The decider is not just people. The decider is capital. It could well be that the majority of people want to go to one direction, but they don't have enough capital.
Yeah.
The decider of BTC, as it is a free market, is not people, it's capital, aka money.
Yeah, but if there's a fork that makes it not 21 million Bitcoin, and the capital and the people go to the thing that's not 21 million, then BTC is not 21 million. Right? I mean, am I wrong or am I? I mean, now the now the question is whether or not that's likely, right? The question is whether or not that's likely to happen, and whether or not the Bitcoin community will get behind something like that or not, right? That's kind of the question. I think it's unlikely that would happen. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that's unlikely.
It doesn't make sense to me because it's not my question. I don't have that question.
Yeah.
That's a question that exists within your mind, and it's fine. I don't even go into the discussion because it's not a question that exists for me. But if it exists for you, feel free to go on that rabbit hole. I have real issues that are very likely that concerns me, that I prefer to use my brain power to that. But if you want to use on that one, go. We already discussed this last week. You're free. I don't control anyone.
We're just talking about it. We're just talking about like the differences. That's all.
I already say BTC, and I'm going to repeat again, BTC is 21 million. That's guaranteed. If you want to dispute that, or something that is likely not in the future, go for it. I don't have that doubt. To me, it's like discussing flat Earth. I know Earth is round. You want to believe it's flat? Go for it. Okay, it's like.
Well, no, I think I'm not gonna. But I think talking about the fact that it can change is also like talking about the truth of the network. You know what I mean? At the same time, because like that is how the network does work. Like it's a social consensus. Not like it is important to know that, at least in terms of Bitcoin.
I'm not sure. Sorry, just cut off there.
Could you repeat what? Would you repeat?
Yeah, no. I think. Yeah, so I think educating people on the fact that Bitcoin's a social consensus and that it can be changed is like it is part of educating people about Bitcoin that I don't think a lot of people are being educated on. I think people really do believe that Bitcoin is 21 million and it's impossible to be changed. And I'm saying that no, that's not true. And I'm saying that it's not necessarily true. It's unlikely that it will change. But I'm saying that there is another thing to Bitcoin, that it is a social consensus, and if those social consensus parties agree, then Bitcoin can be changed.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'm not like attacking Bitcoin with like a pitchfork or something. Like,
No, I don't feel like you're attacking Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin can be attacked. I want to repeat that. Bitcoin is sovereign money. It cannot be attacked. That's my view.
Yeah.
People are entitled to their opinion, and I'm not a max that's going to say, "Oh, you are attacking Bitcoin," and I'm here to. No, I'm not here to defend anything. People do whatever they want with their money. I think it's important to educate people on how the consensus mechanism work. But I see a difference, at least for me. I see a difference between talking about how the consensus mechanism work and venturing into the idea that there's going to be more than 21 million. To me, those are two very different things.
No, I never tried to like create like the narrative that it's 21 million. I'm just saying that it is possible that there's going to be that it is possible that can happen. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's likely. I don't think it is likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have to say that before that the video that I spoke to you guys, I think last week about, or 2 weeks ago, where they were saying that maybe BlackRock could change the number of, of Bitcoin, whatever. I think before that I heard that it was possible to change, even though, like you say, Boof, is something that is not going to happen, or Alchemist says that it's unlikely. Some time ago, I really thought
I think Jucha, who just joined us, talk about that as well. Go ahead, Cora.
I think it was a video that he shared that I saw. I don't know if he's able to speak.
I think honestly that is something that I'm open to the discussion. Like, besides the code vulnerability of BTC, I do believe there is a vulnerability that is coming from institutional adoption, right? The more institutional money, the more institutional capital we have into BTC, I think that's a vulnerability that I'm willing to exploit. Like BlackRock having control over Bitcoin Core or the other developers, that is a vulnerability that I think we can discuss and we can debate. Like, what would happen with BTC now that BlackRock, Fidelity, and all these other institutional large holders of capital come into this space? I think that is a debate that we had in Clubhouse. Jucha was the one that bringing that up. I think that is a very important debate. Now, I still have some questions about like what changes can occur on BTC, right? And what fork would occur. And I'm open to the possibility that, for instance, there was a bet that I saw Roger Ver making with Jamie Song, and the bet was that in 10 years' time, Bitcoin Cash market cap would surpass the market cap of BTC. I do believe that if BlackRock is heavily invested in BTC and they want to cause changes, I'm assuming they want to cause changes that would increase the value of BTC for them because they're investors. Now, are they going to make changes that's going to undermine the value of the asset? Could be. That would be very logical, very unsensible, but we never know. That's a discussion I'm open to discuss.
So how would someone like BlackRock infiltrate Bitcoin? So you have to think about the people that are in the social consensus: the nodes, the miners, the exchanges, the people who accept it, the software guys. The dApps and the wallets, maybe the big time dApps.
What do you mean dApps? I'm not sure.
Like the wallets and stuff like that.
Okay, the applications, yes. Okay, because dApps are decentralized applications. I don't know any wallet between all that is decentralized. So.
Well, yeah, just anybody who holds BTC is like, I would say that I mean, I don't know if that's like a confirmed party, but I would assume that they would have a seat at that table. And then, so let's look at what BlackRock has already started to do. They're already starting to buy the biggest mining companies. They're already starting to, they're already in relationships with Coinbase, like, Circle and Consensus and, all these things. So they are already trying to get their claws in there. Like I said, I don't think it's likely that it'll be able to work, but that is essentially what they're going to try to do. And it basically, if miners are pushed out and miners are centralized, and like you said a couple of weeks ago, Booth, like basically just governments and like large institutions are mining Bitcoin, then the inflation and the fees go to them, and eventually like they hypothetically will like get a large supply of the Bitcoin too, which if they just hoard it and hold it, which like they'll probably sell some, let's be honest, but that's what they're gonna like. That's the best thing that they can try to do. Bitcoin is pretty decentralized, so it's going to be pretty tough to do that. But then on top of that, like, you know, Bitcoin Core, the devs, that's Blockstream. They're a public company. So it's not like it's not like it's impossible. But it's just a very, very tall task. But I think if there's one entity that's going to try to do it, it's BlackRock. And I think that might be what they're trying to do. BlackRock's going to try to get control of all the assets. It's not just Bitcoin. They're going to try to get control of everything. You see what I mean?
But I see what you mean, but the other point is I want to make, like, government and BlackRock, they do not have to sell BTC in order to get cash.
No.
Right? No. So like when you say like they're gonna sell it, like government doesn't have to sell it. All they have to do is use that as collateral.
Yeah, they could sell it at a
but like, why would they? Why would you sell an asset that you can just use as collateral and print money?
To buy it back lower. They could do the buyback lower if they, you know, it's possible. I mean, you know, these institutions can pump and dump just like everybody else, right?
Yeah, that's a good theory. Like to me, it's like you can always buy it, right? Like you have infinite access to cash. But let's see. I wouldn't. Me as a Bitcoiner, if I can hold BTC and still get money, because to me the law is good money gets driven away in the more availability of negative money, right? So lower quality money goes away and drives away bad money keeps in circulation, and bad money goes, like, good money goes away, right? So for instance, if you have, and the same thing with people, like when I travel, for instance, to Angola, and I have like a pack of bills, the first bills that I give away are the older ones, the ones that have a tear. So the one with the lower qualities goes first, and I try to preserve the newer bills. Like, that's just common. I think Juchi just shared with us an article here on X, which we can take a look and.
No, that's the hey guys, that's the one we were talking about, like about BlackRock and Vanguard buying up everything. So he gives some information there. It's a bit long, but you can fast forward a bit.
You're gonna fast forward here, let me see.
Right. Yeah, that's the video I was talking about. Yeah. Thank you, Yichue.
They have like 2.5% of the supply. I think that's what I'm gonna share the screen here. Thank you.
They're
Joshua.
buying up one of the big ones they're buying up is Mara, MARA, which is registered on the stock exchange there.
Community to rally together and bring Bitcoin back in line with the original vision. If you want to see his full thoughts,
It's already like past the third in or something. He breaks down some of the percentages.
Yeah, but they're definitely trying to get involved, at least. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're trying to like do like a takeover of Bitcoin. They're, you know, I don't know if that's their intention or whatever.
I don't think they're trying to get involved. I think they're already involved. Like, they are already involved. Like, they have massive amount of capital. They're buying the miners. They're already launching ETF. They are involved. So this is the video.
You're not sharing the audio, I think.
Oh. Let me get to the audio then. Hold on. And you just say I have to go a bit forward to. Let me see this.
Yeah, about half, like a little bit less than halfway, maybe.
Okay. So here he's saying that they already accumulate like 2.5% of BTC.
They've already accumulated 2.5% of the entire supply. Some of the real Bitcoin OGs out there, developers, are also concerned, but you're not going to believe why they really want Bitcoin. I'm going to get into that, but first, let me give you some context and explain to you what they've been doing. Not too long in Bitcoin, preserving that trustless ownership, because right now, Bitcoin is not in a place to allow everyone worldwide to transact permissionlessly, regularly, and could actually become a victim of a form of digital bank run. In that situation, it would be only usable for a few wealthy entities and kind of destroys the whole self-sovereignty side to it. Now, I am not saying Bitcoin is completely corrupt or centralized, but we're certainly at a turning point. And I just wanted to make everyone clear on what is going on behind the scenes. BlackRock clearly are trying to get their claws on everything in every way they can, so you can see it worldwide, the amount of things they own. So you might say, yes, but it doesn't matter how much Bitcoin they own or what the core team does, as it depends on the miners. And that is what brings us to the next point. There's something that's going on under the radar quite a lot at the moment and might take you by surprise, but probably not, as it's BlackRock after all. They're investing heavily into mining companies. So BlackRock are major shareholders of 4 of the top 5 mining companies. Just let that sink in for a second. 4 out of the top 5. They're already starting to get a serious amount of hash power in the mining network. While they're not on the scale of Foundry or Antpool, they're probably not stopping where they are right now. So the biggest mining company out of the bunch is Mara, and they've got close to about 6% of the Bitcoin network hash rate. So when did BlackRock first start buying shares of the company? Back in 2021, they made their first purchase. It was just for 6.7% of the company. Then in 2022, they increased that to 7.4%. 2023, they bought even more and own 8.1%. Now there's a big change in 2024, and they just increased their shares massively, and they own almost 15%. And guess who's the second largest shareholder? That's right, Vanguard. But since BlackRock's first bought Mara, they've almost doubled their holdings. Also in the year, they launched their Bitcoin ETF, and combined with the fact that they have a strong influence over Bitcoin Core, things are starting to get concerning. That technically means that BlackRock, through just one of their companies, owns almost 1% of the Bitcoin mining hash rate. That's not even including the other 3, and who knows what else they actually have their hands in. Regardless, they're definitely not going to be stopping there unless things change. Their influence over the network is only going to grow. So what's their end goal with all of this? It's pretty clear at this point that they're trying to do whatever they can to get more influence over the network. From holding a huge portion of the supply, having influence over the Bitcoin Core development team, and also heavily investing into mining companies. From what they're doing, it looks like they're trying to turn Bitcoin into just another Wall Street tool. Bitcoin is more than that, and we've got to try to do our part by reigniting the cypherpunk philosophy and reminding everybody why it was created in the first place. Do not forget the financial crisis of 2009 and what a disaster that was, and how corrupt the current system is. Because in its current form, Bitcoin isn't looking like much of a threat to that current fiat system. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this whole situation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear, but to me, that's the whole point of the free market. You have capital, you apply where you want it. Like I don't think of ways to stop them or anything like that. Again, you can always go fork yourself. That's the whole beauty. You can always go fork yourself. It's no problem. Right, Juchi? You just fork.
Yeah, it's just good to be aware of what's going on, and hopefully it's not like a threat that materializes or anything like that. But yeah, maybe then that's when Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin or something else will be an alternative. So I think the market will determine that.
Or BSV, right?
Please, then I think the world will be apocalypse here.
Oh boy. Yeah, some people are gonna criticize him for saying BSD.
So, Boof, you wanna go on to the next subject, which is thinking in terms of percentages and not
yeah,
fiat. So do
I
you
think it's important. Yeah,
you want me to
yeah,
pull
I
up?
think it's important to address that. So I think there's like a lot of difference between sophisticated money and like less sophisticated or even poor people, right? I think the vast majority of the population, they have, like Max will say, like there's people who measure or keep their money in form of fiat, and those people are called poor. That was the words of Mike Saylor. But I also think it is that the mindset, like every person that I meet who is a wealthy person or investor, they don't measure their wealth in or their gains in terms of, oh, I made 300,000 today. Like it's more in terms of percentage, right? So there's a goal which lies between most of the time between 10 to 15%, which is how to outpace inflation, even though inflation is about 2% in terms of the expansion of money supply, but there's appreciation of your purchasing power, which goes to about 10%. So the first goal is how to outpace inflation, which is 10%. You don't measure inflation on fiat terms, you measure inflation on percentage terms. Then go ahead. Yep.
I was just gonna say, not only outpace inflation, but outpace the real inflation number. Not the number they give you, but the real inflation number, not including the substitutions and the measurements. So when like whatever the inflation number is, you should probably double it, and to be safe, maybe triple it. And then that's outpacing inflation,
Yeah.
really.
So, and again, all those numbers are in percentage. So the idea is what percentage of gains do I need to have? What is the percentage of increasing purchasing power that I have to have in order to outpace inflation? And that's why wealthy people have assets. They don't have fiat. You can see Mike Saylor doing this very minimum amount of fiat and maximum amount of assets, and he's increasing that those assets should be solely BTC. But Warren Buffett, the same thing. What are my assets and how much percent have I increased my purchasing power? They don't measure in terms of millions or 100 or how, like it's not fiat terms. And I think that is one mentality that most people need to change. Because when you get that mentality, a lot of things change in your life, right? So for instance, if I'm going to give an example to you, let's say I have $5,000 and someone needs a loan of $5,000. Wow, I can gain X% with BTC, like in this year was about at least double. So like I can get 100% gain with BTC. What is the interest rate you're going to give to me on this loan? Because I can get 100% on BTC or 40% on BTC. Like, so once you start to measure in terms of percentage, your whole relationship with money and wealth changes. And the more you can do that in terms of percentage, the less likely you are to remain in poverty because you're not using, okay, how much percent can I get on this asset? What increase of purchasing power can I get on that asset versus can I get $10 here to $1,000? No, how much percent can you increase your purchasing power by doing this investment? And having that mindset, I think changes drastically your relationship with money and increases the chance of you stepping out of poverty.
Yeah, like so the next thing after that, like outpace inflation, then I think the next thing you would do is then outpace the S&P 500. And then after that, then and I think like we're the crypto vagabonds. We believe that that answers Bitcoin, and we're gonna show you guys some research that Bitcoin's done a very very good job at doing that over the past like let's say 10 years. But then and then from there, if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, if you want to like really niche into crypto, then you say okay, like over a certain time period, what investment strategy can you do that outperforms Bitcoin? Then you're like talking, then you're outperforming the outperforming, like the outperforming asset over a 4-year time period or a 10-year time period. Like if you can outperform BTC, then you're doing as good as you possibly, you're doing as good as you can. There's nothing that you don't get much better than that. So
Here's BTC, right? And you have here, for instance, you have 24 hours, 7 days, 1 year, right? Which goes back to a year ago, December 24. So here, you used to have year to date. I don't see that anymore. But let's say in 1 year, we were at 41,000, and now we are at 105,000. So that is like for sure more than 200%. and almost 100%. Once it hits 120, that is literally 200% more. It has going double that the price of 40. So 40 twice, that is 80. And then 80, another 40, that would be 120. So pretty close to there. So it's like 150% at least. We get into 200% possibly. So when you see in those terms, and then someone comes for you, let's for instance, I need $10,000, you're like, okay, that's a quarter of BTC. Well, how much interest rates you're going to give it to me, because I can just hold the asset and increase my purchasing power without having to worry about the risk of giving the money to you and things going wrong, right? So this is one way. And I think when I talk about log as well, which is slightly
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, if you're looking at a chart, whenever you're charting, like whenever you're looking at a chart like this, if you click log on so if you do max and then you click log, or is it already? So click max, like you see how that, like it looks a little bit truncated? That shows the percentage returns. It's up and to the right steady the entire time. So that's Bitcoin. Like, yeah, there's dips, but it shows the dips relatively, like, so I'll give you an example. So if something goes up 1,000,000% from bottom, like if something is like a fractions of pennies and then it goes up 1,000,000% and then it takes a 98% dip, what it will look like on a non-logged chart is like it just looks like a pump and dump. It just looks like an up and then a big down because it's measuring it in dollar terms, and the scale is like if it goes up by pennies as opposed to fractions of pennies, that doesn't account for the percent of returns that you get. So when you log it, you see that the dips are very, very small relative, because it's like if something goes up 1,000x and then it dips 95%, well, yeah, it's going to dip 95% because it went up 1,000x. You see what I mean? Like, obviously, if you're going to get those types of gains, you have to expect a deep correction, in most cases. So I think this is like whenever you're looking at a chart, I think using log and thinking in terms of percentages is probably the most useful thing to do in terms of like looking at the health, like looking at the increase of purchasing power of an asset over a long period of time.
Yeah, here you can see also the performance, right? So I just click ETH, and you can see that Ethereum, which is here on the purple color, versus BTC, which is on the blue color. You can see here the difference, right? So it's still outperforming Ethereum.
Yeah. Now, if you go to well, yeah, for a specific period of time. Now, if you zoom out of the ETH, like if you go to an actual ETH BTC chart and you zoom out all the way, you actually see that it like ETH is still on an uptrend, but it is on a pretty severe downtrend. It is on a pretty severe dip right now. It is. But if you zoom all the way out of an Ethereum BTC chart, you actually see that it is like technically ETH is still up against BTC. Oh, it's like since
So
ETH
look, so this is January 2014, right? And I'm clicking ETH, and September 2014, which was when ETH was created, and is down compared to BTC. So how much further you want me to go? How do you want me to do this?
So if you would go to here, let me pull up. Let me pull
Okay,
up a
so
see.
You can always go to multicoincharts.com and then type in on the top ETH BTC. If you don't
Yeah,
have trade, for those people who don't have trading view.
I do. I just don't have it on this computer, but I think I can get this. I think I can prove the point here real quick. So, I mean, I don't know how many Ethereum you would have needed to buy Bitcoin in like 2017 as an example, but I think it was like a lot, like thousands of Ethereum, I believe. Full chart. Just make sure I got this. There we go.
Well, as Zero Hedge says, on a long enough time scale, everything goes to zero.
Yeah. So let me just share this real quick. This isn't. Okay, can you guys see this?
yeah.
So right here, it looks like it's like complete down, right? Like all the way down.
Yeah, but let's go back to 2014, right? That is the year that we need to.
So if you look,
Yeah.
like it's up, like ETH BTC is like like yeah, it's been on a severe downtrend since December of like basically the bull market top of last bull market, but it's still up versus like down here as an example. It's basically hitting right here actually. The support resistance is right here. So this is right where Boof, I don't know if you remember this, but this is where like I just made a claim for fun and called the ETH BTC bottom right here. You remember that? The monthly? Yeah. So that's where I basically said right there. That was like the presidential elections essentially. And then so far it's in play, but yeah, if you zoom all the way out of the ETH BTC chart, it's still up. Like, you see what I mean? So sometimes people need to like, because that's the thing. Like, people on Twitter will like manipulate you and try to trick you to act like ETH is getting killed. Yeah, since the top of the bull market last year, yeah, it has been
But
getting.
that doesn't go back to 2014, which is when it began.
Well, I mean, if you go back to, I mean, ETH was cheaper, I would assume from that point, so it would probably be even lower. It would probably
No,
even look.
no. If it was cheaper, Bitcoin was even cheaper than like it's not because if you compare two assets, how much cheaper was BTC versus how much cheaper was Ethereum, right? Doesn't make sense?
Yeah, I would assume like in Ethereum's earlier days when it had the most amount of gains, I would assume that this chart would go even lower and it would look like even more of an uptrend. I would assume because it
Yeah,
was so
but here's the beauty. Go to CoinGecko, for instance, and show me that in CoinGecko because I don't understand what like I want to understand how is this different than CoinGecko, right? So if you put Bitcoin there, or you can do Ethereum if you want. Okay, log or whatever price you want to put.
I think it might exit the BTC here. Hold on. Yeah, right there. That looks about right. Yep. So right here, you can see the numbers right here. Like you could see the price of Bitcoin in ETH. So back here, this is how many BTC you got per Ethereum right here. You see this? You see the number? Do you see that? The numbers right there?
Mm-hmm.
So then as you go up, you see that the number gets larger and larger, which means that you need less Ethereum to get the same amount of BTC over time. Just keeps going. And then it just goes up and up and up. And then since here, which is, it's been going down, basically. It's been in a downtrend. Do you see what I mean? Do you see that number, the price in BTC per Ethereum? So like back in 2016, 2017, you were able to get like, thousands of Ethereum for a Bitcoin. Now, I don't know how many you can get, but it's not that many. It's not as many as that. Does that make sense?
Okay, so you could get so you
Down
need less. Look,
down here, you could have the price of Ethereum per
no,
BTC.
go to the beginning part because I see higher numbers there.
Where?
Okay, so right there at the beginning.
Yep.
Right, so you're saying that I could get with 0.59 BTC, I could get 1 Ethereum. Is that what you're saying there?
It's saying that
Is that
it's saying that the price of Ethereum, like in BTC, like how many Ethereum, like how much Bitcoin you would get for an Ethereum would be that.
Okay, 0.005. Okay.
And as you go up, you see that number gets larger, which means that you need less Ethereum to buy the same amount of BTC.
No, you need less BTC to buy more BTC to buy the same amount of Ethereum. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, the trend since Ethereum has been out has been going up, but since the top of the bull market, it's been going down, and that's what all the Twitter fuss is about, where people are like, "Oh, ETH BTC is getting killed." Yeah, since the top of the bull market last bull market, but if you zoom all the way out, if you zoom out, then you see that that's not actually the case if you put in the proper perspective.
So now you need more BTC to buy the same amount of Ethereum. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
You need more. You need less ETH to buy the same amount of BTC, and you need more BTC to buy the same amount of Ethereum. Whatever way you
I
want.
got it. Okay. Yeah.
And
Well, good.
why was it different? Why was it so different when Boof was showing from BTC to Ethereum? If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he did there. I don't know if he had log on there or what. I don't know. I don't know what the chart. I don't know.
I feel like it was a percentage growth percentage. Was that done in percentage terms? Maybe that's why the percentage growth based on price.
So yeah, so sometimes if you like click something, sometimes it won't like log it. Like sometimes the log will go away when you click certain something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I just know that when I just looked at ETH BTC, like the numbers were pretty clear. Like you just were able to get more Bitcoin per Ethereum. See what I mean? So
There is a person here asking if you can take a look at Gary Network. Gary USD.
I like this guy. I like you. I like whoever you are. Shout out to you, man. Yeah.
Disclosure Crypto is the name of the channel, so there's no name exact.
Welcome. You guys want to take a look at the Gary Network? Not on CoinGecko, man. What do you?
I think I better no comment on this one.
I'm down to look at it. Maybe I have to look on Dex Tools or Dex Screener and find it. I don't think it's on like CoinGecko or anything. But
Actually, I think it's in one second. Coin Market, I think.
I see a lot of Gary on CoinGecko. I see
Gary Network. I think it's like yellow with pink or something.
Yeah, those colors would make sense for something called Gary Network, I think.
Gary Network. I'm looking on CoinMarketCap. I don't see it. Maybe it's Gary.
Well, I saw something here. Maybe I'm wrong. Should I share the screen to see?
Yeah, share it.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Share it.
Maybe I'm mistaken something here. I don't know. Let me.
I saw 4 Garys on CoinGecko. One should be a meme coin about Gary Gensler.
Yeah,
It's literally called.
It was like a cartoon version of Gary Gensler. Like,
yeah, it's Gary Gensler.
Gary Gensler. Oh,
Gary with I, not with Y. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's so go to go to log.
Okay.
Log. Okay. We got a downtrend. All right. Looks like it's a Solana. It's on Solana. So you got Solana. Let's look at the supply. Okay. Yeah. All right. So.
Okay. I can share my screen and show something after what is done there.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you can go to the website if you want. We can look at the website. Cora just goes offline. All right, so we're world's largest Web3 audio and video live streaming platform. Okay. 200 plus million downloads. Go down. Yeah, so like
OKX,
I want to say something about. Yeah, I want to say something.
Go up. I see Kraken, Bits.com, OKX.
I want to say something about this.
Obi, KuCoin, Radium, and more. Well,
I want to say something about this. So this is another way. Yeah, so this is another way that like, yeah. Okay. So let me translate this for you, like from a crypto degen, like what this actually means, right? So Kraken, Crypto.com, OKX, KuCoin, that means that like this is where we like store our money to hide like our whale wallets. This is, like Gate.io, like maybe we use that for some smart contracts and stuff. And then Radium is where our token is traded. And like, sometimes you'll see like Amazon Web Service there. It's like, that's where we run all our clients and we pay the money to like run our servers and stuff. It's like that's like what this actually means. Like a lot of times they'll just throw like partnerships on there, but that just means like, you know, we're partnered with Google. Like we're partnered with like Google Docs or something. It's like, yeah, that's what we do to like do business stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's mostly the case, but to be fair, and again, I hate these kind of poo tokens, but on the markets tab on Coin Market Cap, there is
Exactly. There's a list
20
of
to
network markets.
40K 20 to 40K volume on Mexi, BingX, and a couple. So KuCoin. So it seems like it is listed on those places, but obviously be careful because the volume is very low.
yeah,
All right,
no,
allow me to share. I can show you here. Allow me to share. Okay, let me share here so we can see what he's talking about. So to verify things, you go to CoinGecko, and on the bottom it shows carry network markets, right? And give the numbers that Jojo is talking about there. So 24-hour volume is 40,000 on Radium. KuCoin is like 20,000, 12,000. So those are very low caps, right? Meteora, but they are being transacted on those platforms. So
yeah,
like HTX, like those are all the platforms where you can get to GotIO, CoinBX. So, and then CoinBX again.
for
So
decentralized exchanges, Dex Screener is where you want to go for the on-chain dexes as well. That's where you see like where it's being traded on decentralized.
so it's not just like throwing partnerships; they are being transacted. You can see the volume here. But this kind of low volume, it's scary. Thank you, Joshua. So this maximum supply is 100 billion, 1 billion, sorry, 1 billion, and 99% is already being issued of the supply. No, sorry, this is the max supply, the total supply. So there's about 62% issued. Sorry, circulating supply is here, and it's 1 cent, it's 1 penny. But
So,
what I like to show to you guys is this. Look at this. Prepare your hearts.
that's an incredible start. That's an incredible. Oh my God.
So should you
what
log
this,
it? Should you log it?
it's still bad. Yeah, it's still pretty rough. Let me look at the timing of that. Like go to like click off the log. Click off the log. Go to the top, like before it just did like had a complete cliff. Before it
Oh,
just
like,
cliffed.
yeah.
Like right before it cliffed. No,
I don't know.
no, right before it fell off.
No, that's it. It's okay.
No,
It's
that's
like
not it.
No, right before.
Right before the cliff. Right before.
right for the cliff. No, not the all-time high. Okay, sorry.
I just want
let's
to
go
look
on.
at when it was. I just want to look at the price, and I want to look at when. So it was 80 cents. Okay, so
Hey, no.
that was
Yeah.
in 20. Yep, that looks about right. And then it just absolutely fell off a cliff within like days. Okay, so yeah.
So this was between 24th of June, July 2nd, July 3rd, July 4th, the Independence Day of the US, and then boom, July 8th. So like literally 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go. I would be careful. I mean, hopefully you didn't get this at the top. If not, hopefully it
But
comes back.
remember, guy, you gotta buy the bottom.
Hopefully it,
Buy when
yeah.
the blood's on the streets. Buy when everything is low.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks, fart coin's up over 200%, so almost 300%. I mean,
Which
I
coin
don't
is
know.
that?
Fart coin. Like, I mean, is there a coin about everything now? It's crazy.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was
Here's-
asking someone was
No, you
asking
gotta
that
be
we
kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. How? But man, look, with all due respect, if the human race continues to grow, right, and that means
Oh,
that
you
more
haven't heard of
farts.
Fartcoin? Oh, that's old news, man. Fartcoin's old news, guys. This is
But I
old.
mean, it started at 3 cents and it's like
Yeah.
8 cents now. Like,
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. This is a blue chip.
How can
This is establishing itself as a blue chip meme coin.
Log it to see how it looks.
Fiatcoin is massive gain? Like
Uh-huh.
you start at like 2 pennies to almost $1. I mean, it's better than Dogecoin. Like
Yep.
I'm
Well, that's
telling you,
it's gonna hit
so if you're
$1.
investing in meme coins, it's the same. Like we're talking about percentages versus dollars. Like if you're investing in meme coins, you probably want to get stuff that's going to outperform Doge. Doge is the BTC of meme coins. So if you're looking to get some meme coins, you want to pick ones that are going to outperform Doge. The same way that you're buying Doge to outperform BTC. It all depends on at what scale you want to go and how far you want to go down the rabbit hole there.
With all due respect, as human population increases, we're gonna have more farts. So it makes all sense.
It does. Yeah. It's going to inflate.
but I think based on the last chart, I'm figuring at some point Fartcoin's gonna fall off a cliff too.
Oh no, I guarantee you it will fall off a cliff. That's a promise that will be a cliff there. Yeah. A lot of the meme coins,
Wow.
it's not going to go. That ain't going up forever. There are people with a lot of money on that thing that are gonna sell a lot.
So let's go back to the to one more topic. Like you get BTC at the price you deserve. I think that's the only thing we still haven't talked about that yet.
You don't want to go over the article of comparing Bitcoin and looking at how it destroyed everything else?
Okay, which article is that? Go ahead.
Yeah. So hold on.
Well, you look for
The
that.
best
Someone
performing
was
asset. Yeah.
asking a couple questions. First is that when are we gonna have the vagabond coin? And the second and the
other one
second
is
that what is near protocol, if you know what that is.
we know what that is. Yeah, we know your protocol. So let's look at this and then we're going to answer those questions. So YTD means year to date, right? So
yeah, so this is basically an article that I found, a CoinGecko article that talks about like Bitcoin's performance against the like other assets, right? So we have which asset performed best year to date, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year. So this is comparing Bitcoin with the S&P 500, with gold, sorry, Peter Schiff, with crude oil, with 5-year treasuries, with 10-year treasuries, right? And these are the gains, these are the performances. So a lot of people just do basic investing and they just try to invest in this. And then maybe if the world collapses, they try to buy gold or like a hedge against fiat. And then, oil is obviously good to have because that's energy. And then government debt, 5 years, government debt, 10 years, right? And then we got Bitcoin and we're comparing the returns over these different time frames is what we're doing. So this one is year to date. So this is Bitcoin's chart compared to everything else. The S&Ps and it's all color coordinated here. Bitcoin just took the reins. Now, what I wish they did was they put NVIDIA on here because it would actually be a better competition. NVIDIA and Bitcoin that would be a better competition, but they didn't.
I can see why they didn't put NVIDIA. I can tell you exactly why they did not put NVIDIA. If you don't know, I can tell you that because those assets that are there are much longer lasting and they're going to be for a long time. NVIDIA is just a company that can go crash tomorrow. So Bitcoin is likely to be for a long time. The S&P 500 is a basket of the top 500 companies: gold, crude oil, and 5-year treasuries. So they're comparing BTC as an asset that's going to be for a long time with other assets that have a long track history. NVIDIA is just a recent company. I think that's why. Does that make sense?
Possible, yeah. I mean, NVIDIA is a pretty big boy, though. I mean, it's a pretty big stock. I mean, that's a pretty.
It doesn't have the story record of, for instance, other companies. Like, and I think that's why.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's why I said the S&P 500 is a package of 500 companies. But go ahead, continue.
That
I'm just
makes
trying to think in the common sense that I think they use it here. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So you got year to date, just cleaning house, on the year. So that makes sense, right? Like it's 2024, 2023, 2024. That was basically the first year of the bull run. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Here, again, Bitcoin just cleaning house. And this is, guys, this is the safest thing in crypto too. Bitcoin is the safest thing in crypto. Like it's, Bitcoin's done really well. Like this is the safest, most conservative thing in crypto, just destroyed like traditional assets, like, like the volatility. And this is a good example too, Boof. Like volatility is your friend. Like Bitcoin's really volatile, but I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
You see, people see that like, oh, Bitcoin's too volatile. Well,
Yeah, and it's beautiful that is also showing our argument, right? Everything there is in percentage, right? It's not like yeah.
And the other thing too, guys, is like, we'll talk about that a little bit after. So this is the 3-year. So this is going to be a little bit worse because this was basically the bear market, and you can see that the government debt, because everybody was risk off at the time, that has outperformed Bitcoin. And Bitcoin like really did bad. It did like the worst because it's comparing a 3-year time frame from the top of Bitcoin. So this one, it looks like the Bitcoin, like the risk off stuff is going to all do better basically. And then Bitcoin's just going to do really, really bad because it's a 3-year time frame. Now, if we zoom out, if we go further down, if we zoom out like we did with ETH BTC, we see Bitcoin just cleaning house again. Right. This is 5-year time frame.
And there's a lot of volatility as well. A lot of volatility.
Cleaned house here, like just destroyed every asset. So got that. And then we zoom out even further, which is 10. So this would be 2014 to today. And then Bitcoin just dominant. Look at everything else. It just looks like completely like nothing, like chump change compared to Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin just absolutely destroys everything from a 10-year.
28,000%, right?
Yeah. So guys, this is, if you're not in crypto right now, if you're not like, and when I say in crypto, I don't mean like bull market, like I'm paying attention and then like I'm gonna not sell and then I'm gonna like get mad and not pay attention, then I'm gonna come back in the bull market. If you're like consistently paying attention in crypto, if you're not doing that, you are messing up. You are really messing up. Because Bitcoin got the safest, most conservative asset in the entire crypto space, and it's just absolutely destroying everything else. Like, look at this. Look at this. Yeah.
Yep.
Just like
nothing ever will give like 28,000% in 10 years. And if you look at the time when Bitcoin actually got its first price, which was a pizza day, to today, I made a calculation when it was around 60K, 70K. That was around 20 million%.
Yeah.
Not 20 million, like 20 million%. Like this is a very high percentage.
Yeah, like Bitcoin's massive gains over the last decade came with significant volatility. Yeah, guys, if you want this, there's volatility there. Yeah, of course. If you want this, if you want these types of returns, then you're going to have to deal with 80%, 90% dips along the way. So, it's probably going to be less now because Bitcoin gets bigger over time. It's probably going to be 70%. It's going to be less most likely. But
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful article.
Yeah.
I think you shared that with us. Yeah.
Yep. So that's that. Just basically comparing how Bitcoin's done over different time frames versus traditional assets. Like people who are still like ignorant of Bitcoin, like, yeah, you guys are like, I'm sorry. I hope you guys get, I hope you guys come get orange pilled.
Yeah.
So
let's look at
some people.
Richard.
Yeah, there's some people I talk to in real life. They're the older folks. They ain't getting in. They got their retirements and their 401k and they telling me, oh, I got it all on the S&P or the NASDAQ or whatever stocks and this and that. So those people are not coming on board. I don't see that happening from that kind of generation. So it's going to be a different generation that comes in.
Yeah, it'll be the new humans or the younger. I think the younger, like the millennials and down. They'll probably be the ones getting it.
So yeah, the last topic that we were gonna discuss is like people, like everyone gets Bitcoin at the price that they deserve. And I guess you guys have different opinions on that. So I want
I
to
don't
listen
think
to
we
that.
do. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll find out.
Let's find out.
Yeah, Boof, what do you, Juche, Boof, what do you guys think about? There's a common thing that a lot of people, like a lot of people who, like, it's just thrown around there. I think people just repeat it from other people. I don't know, but they say you get the price that you deserve. You get the price. You get the Bitcoin price that you deserve. And what do you guys think about that? And what do you guys think that means? And do you guys think that that is like necessary? Do you guys think that that is true?
I believe not just that is true. I think everything that happens in your life is because you deserve. I don't believe in victims. As a sovereign individual, I believe everything that happens to you is a consequence of your own actions and your own sovereignty. Therefore, you deserve it. It's not just the price of BTC. Like, you're fully responsible for everything that happens to you, and everything that happens to you is things that you deserve. The idea that someone is going to get something that they do not deserve, to me, is anti-sovereignty. So that's my view. To me, it's not just the price of BTC. Everything you deserve. If you didn't deserve it, it wouldn't happen to you. Does it make sense?
It does. Yeah. Juche, what do you think? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, I agree. I don't know. There's not much more I can add to that. I think, yeah, people are gonna get in it in life what they deserve. So not too much more to add.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a different opinion. It's not that I don't think that I'm coming from the point of view of like, oh, like, poor me. I didn't get a chance to get Bitcoin at $200 or something like that. That's not really like what I'm saying. I'm saying that um people who were in the position to get Bitcoin earlier, meaning like they were born at that time and they were like able, like, they were able bodied and they were able to get it and they were in the right, like there was, now I'm not saying that you didn't take the opportunity, right? I'm not saying that, but saying that you get the price that you deserve is very convenient if you bought Bitcoin relatively cheap because you were there and you were born at that time compared to somebody who was 6 years old or wasn't even born yet. There are people who are still not born yet. Do they deserve to get a lower price of Bitcoin? I don't think so. I don't think that that makes any sense at all. Now, does that mean that they're victims? No, it's just the circumstance that they were in where they're not born and Bitcoin is way more expensive because that was just where they were born. That doesn't make them a victim. It just means that, like, because they have to buy Bitcoin at a higher price, that doesn't mean that that's what they deserve. Because if they were in Bitcoin at a lower price, if they were in that, if they were, let's say they were 15 years older or they were 25, 35 years older, um, they would have gotten that price. But since they weren't, they don't have to necessarily play the victim, but what they can do is they can go further down the risk curve. They can buy Solana, they can buy Sui, they can buy Ethereum, they have to work a little bit harder in order to get the same type of returns that those Bitcoiners got. But that doesn't mean that they're not victims. But I don't think it's like, I think that like you get the price that you deserve. It's true if you like were ignorant of Bitcoin and then you change your mind. Yeah, that's the price you deserve. But for people who weren't born yet or like younger humans that like weren't like financially independent at that time, I'm not sure if they deserve to buy it at a higher price. I think it's just the timing of the way everything happened. Does that make sense?
I don't believe that being born earlier has anything to do with it. I know Bitcoiners who became Bitcoiner at the age of 12. I think Bitcoin was available for a younger generation before they were even available for the older generation. Literally, like, I know a guy who became Bitcoin at the age of 12. He designed a software in Netherlands and he sold it and he didn't have a bank account. Therefore, he charged for that in BTC. The buyer of the app that he created had to pay him in BTC. So I don't know, like, if age has much to do with it. I and to me, it's like, there's a lot of things that happen in the world that I don't have, right? I was not born in the time where we use whale oil to heat my house. I would love to. I would like to know what it's like to, like, what does it smell like to have whale oil, right? I think that is something that I think it's important. I wish, for instance, sometimes to be born in a different geographical location, right? Instead of being born in Brazil, why didn't I born in the UK? Why am I not the daughter or the son of a king? Like, I got the life that I deserve. Like I'm not sure like that is like, do I deserve to be like the part of the royal family? Like, no, I deserve the life that I have. Like, that's my
Yeah.
view. Like,
Say whale oil,
yeah, I'm curious about what it smells like.
but now you got, instead of whale oil, now you are the whale. You're the crypto whale.
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
sometimes you get something similar.
That's a
so
nice pool, one Joche. That's a really nice pool. It's really early morning there for Joche. Yeah.
It's a liquidity pool.
It's a liquidity pool.
So
So I was just going to respond to what he said. So obviously, like for that 12-year-old that got into Bitcoin, I mean, shout out to him. I mean, that's awesome that he did.
exception.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. I just said like an exception could be like
Yeah. So that guy is like an extreme exception to the rule, right? Like that's not like the norm. Like the exception doesn't make the rule, right? So like I'm saying, like on a balance of probabilities, most 12-year-olds and most 10-year-olds are not thinking about like economic finance and things like this. Now some are, obviously, and maybe he was an outlier to that rule, which good for him. But that doesn't mean, but even if, like, let's just say that we are talking about outliers then. Let's just assume that we are. Okay, well then what about the people who aren't born yet?
What about
So
the elder people? What about Warren Buffett who never wanted to get it?
well then they get the price.
What about Peter
No,
Schiff who doesn't want to buy it? He's an
so
old
they get
man. Like,
they get the price they deserve. That's my point. My point is those people get the price they deserve. The young people who aren't born yet, and it's just the way that they worked. We're not playing like me personally. Like I was young, I'm not playing the victim. I'm saying, hey, listen, I'm going to get those returns anyway. I'm just going to have to go further down the risk curve to do it, and I'm probably going to have to do a little bit, not more, because I think that it does take the same amount of conviction that to hold BTC, because BTC was risky too. What is he? Over there.
Boof would say the people that aren't born yet, they just need to swim faster.
So that's basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, like, I think there's a difference between saying like, yeah, like I didn't deserve, like, it just is what it is. Like the younger humans
so
just have to buy Bitcoin at a higher price, and if they want the same amount of returns, they just have to go further down the risk curve to get it. That's it.
at lower price. The 12-year-old guy is getting BTC at much lower price than Warren Buffett can ever get in his life, or Mike Saylor. Like the kid at the age of 12 is
Yeah.
born way later than Mike Saylor, way later than Warren Buffett, way later than everything, way later than all these elder people who doesn't get Bitcoin. And the guy who's 12, who's born way later, got BTC. So I don't know if anyone's entitled to their opinion. I am from a place where I'm sovereign, and as a sovereign individual, everything that happens in my life I deserve. Everything. If I'm walking on the street and a bird poop on my head and walking, like I deserve that. Like I deserve everything. When I cannot conceive of a world where like, oh, this happened to me, I didn't deserve that. So if you're saying like people who are born today, they're gonna get a Bitcoin at the price they don't deserve, is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm saying that it's not whether or not they deserve it or not. It's just saying like they were born at a different time, which means that Bitcoin, more people bought it. It's like saying like it's like somebody coming back, like it's like somebody like going back like 100 years ago when like the West frontier in America, and everybody was buying like dirt cheap land in America when nobody was there, and they were just going. Actually, this is a good example. And they were just going like west of the United States and just buying all this cheap land, and nobody was occupying it really. And then they come in a time machine to us now, and they're saying like to buy properties in the Midwest or something in America. And they're saying, yeah, you get the price that you deserve. No, you don't. You were born at a different
land.
time.
No. I think it's different. Look, I think land is cheaper today than what it was when they came to America. I honestly believe that. I'm not even like being sarcastic. Think about it. Those people that you're talking about, they have to enter a ship, risk their lives on a ship that has been propelled by wind. Look, if you tell someone Like, okay, listen, I'm gonna give you this price for this land. If you enter in a boat on the other side of the Atlantic with a compass, and you can navigate by the stars and only wind to propel you and not triangular sail, square sails. And if you get here, I give you the land at this price. Who's going to take that offer?
Well, no, but that's not the same. But I understand what you're saying. I understand what I do.
What
I
am
do
I
get.
saying?
So what you're saying
Land is
is
cheaper today.
you're saying that there was more. What you're saying is there was more effort to get to get to the Western frontier than it is today. So it costs. It just doesn't cost the same amount in like the measurable like currency. I
Yeah,
see
so
what you're saying.
if you're counting fiat terms, you're thinking like a poor man. If you think in terms of effort, you're thinking as a wealth man. Like,
Yeah.
I believe today land is cheap. You can create a company online without even leaving your home. You have a laptop. You have the life of 20, 100 times better the poorest person. If you're not a bum on the street, and even a bum on the street, which I was, the poorest person today in America, in Europe, their life is 20 times better than the life of any king on the medieval time. Any king. I mean, you have a library of all books on earth on your back pocket. I know kings that build armies to cross the oceans to find books, bring those books to them, and pay a whole group of translators to have that book interpreted to him so he could read it. If a king in medieval time want to read a book I didn't have, it would take years. Today, whatever book you want is in your back pocket. So books are cheaper today, land is cheaper today, everything today you can get with a much less effort than anyone else in the past. So that they're getting cheaper. And I think in that way, Bitcoin is going to be cheaper. Today you have ChatGPT, and it's going to be 15 years before you can say to ChatGPT or on AI, create a company to me that generates 2 billion per year. And I think an AI will do it. And you're going to have 2 billions and you're going to buy Bitcoin with much less effort than anybody else. So in that sense, if you want to just think in terms of fiat terms, land is cheaper today, houses are cheap today, everything's cheaper today because you have a lot more infrastructure at your disposal and takes much less effort. When would you see a 24-year-old billionaire?
I understand what you're saying. I get it. I do agree with you that it does take more effort in certain ways to get the same material or whatever. But with that being said, I still don't think that you like, because humans are not born into the same time, like you don't get the price that you deserve. I think that people who I think we all should be extremely grateful that we got into Bitcoin, or we were able to get into Bitcoin as early as we did. And as you know, and I think that quote, I think the way that I'm kind of seeing it is like, hey, listen, like there is still hope. You can still get those returns the same way that if you bought Bitcoin at $100, you can still get those returns. You just have to go further down the risk curve, and you just have to work. You just have to adjust your approach, because you're not going to get those returns anymore with Bitcoin. Not going to happen. It's not. Sorry. Bitcoin's at $100,000. You're not going to get another 10,000x return on your Bitcoin. Probably not. You're going to have to get, if you want to get like, you know, a 50x and 100x, which does happen, by the way. And, you know, you're going to have to go a little bit, you have to look at the things that are going to be Bitcoin before they're Bitcoin, like repeats, or at least they gain network effect relative to that. You know, that's what you're going to have.
So here's what happens. Again, I'm trying to understand you. I just want to say pure and simple. There was the automobile boom. Ford, Chrysler won. There was a tech boom. That of opportunity. Every generation is going to have an opportunity to million X their things. So if it's not Bitcoin, it's going to be something else.
Yep. Exactly.
So everyone gets what they deserve. There was the automobile boom. There was the credit card boom. There was so many booms, the house boom. There's always going to be a boom that you can cash in. And I think the access that you can get in wealth is only going to increase.
Yep.
Kings would take generations to double their capital. Generations. You can double your capital in a few years, a few weeks,
In a day.
in a day. So the idea that the next generation is going to be less privileged in terms of being able to get 1000x, 10x, 100x, I think the amount of x of wealth is only going to increase as we go down the line. If not with BTC, with anything else. So
yeah, I agree.
You're always going to get the opportunity you deserve, and you're always going to have life opportunities to 10x, 100x your money. Success has a recipe. If you follow that recipe in any time and space, the roadmap to success is universal and atemporal. If you go 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ahead, I can guarantee you the roadmap to success is the same, regardless of who you are and where you are in time and space.
I agree with everything that you just said. But the Bitcoin price now, like opportunity, like you get the price that you get the Bitcoin price that you deserve. I don't agree with that. I do agree with you get the life that you deserve. You get the X's you deserve. I do agree with that. Yeah.
And the only thing that is not what you deserve is the Bitcoin price. Everything else that you get in your life is what you deserve.
No, it's an asset.
Price.
No, it's not that. It's just the asset came out at a certain time, and there were people that were able to get it at a cheaper price than other people who weren't born yet. That's all I'm saying, and that's okay. But you could still get those same. But you're just not.
Son, who is in the womb of my wife, when he's born, he's going to get Bitcoin at a price that he does not deserve.
I never said that. I said that you don't get the price. It's not at the price that he deserves either. You don't deserve anything. You don't deserve a price of Bitcoin. You're born, and then you become an adult. You become financially literate, and then you buy the price of Bitcoin of whatever the market is. It's not, you don't deserve it or you don't deserve it. It's just, it is what it is, and you have to react to the environment. You have to react to what the market gives you.
Yeah, I agree with what you both are saying. I mean, I understand Alchemist's point of view in terms of, there's people in different circumstances, or I think, well, I mean, he's not talking to circumstances. I would be more on different circumstances, but yeah, people are born at different times, and then like I could never get the price of whatever, some stock in the 1960s or 70s, because it just wasn't possible. So am I getting what I deserve? Yeah, but I mean, the price is one thing, and then the gains and everything else is another thing. So, but you guys are both making points in terms of, yeah, it's not going to be Bitcoin. It's going to be, maybe you have to double up through Fartcoin or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Or Burpcoin is
That's my point.
Coin.
With X's, yeah, you get the X's you deserve. Bitcoin price, just the Bitcoin price, doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's like different levels or different things to this conversation, because we're talking kind of like what is the meaning of deserving something in your life, and the other thing would be like just focus on the fact that people who knew about Bitcoin in 2010, 2011, 2013, something like that, and then they just said that this is the tulip bubble, and they just didn't buy, and then sometime later it's like a lot of excess, and then I think there's like different levels to this conversation basically, and I understand both aspects, like more philosophical and more and the other that is okay, you saw it, you were too arrogant to acknowledge the value of this, you didn't do your research at that moment, you were just I
am one who was those ignorant. I was offered BTC like sub pennies, fractions of pennies, and I was too arrogant to even consider. So I definitely got everything that I deserve. I could have just had swallowed my arrogance and done different. And why did I do it? Because the person who was presenting to me was younger than me, was playing video games. I'm like, I'm gonna buy video game money? Well, get out of here. My own stupidity, my own arrogance, and I didn't get Bitcoin sub pennies. I got everything that I deserved. I got Bitcoin
Yeah.
at $200. That's what I deserve. I don't think there's anything in my life that I got that I do not deserve. Everything that you get in life, you deserve. The price of BTC, the price of rice, the price of anything, the nail that you broke, everything that happened to me, you deserve. And Bitcoin price is no exception to that rule. The idea that everything that happens in my life is what I deserve from a sovereign place, except BTC price. No, everything that I get in my life, I deserve, including Bitcoin price. I don't open exceptions to anything.
That's good. I mean, that makes sense. I think you're looking at it from like like I take accountability for everything, which is good, right? But there is another point to it, and I think that there is a way to like acknowledge what I'm saying, and then at the same time be like, all right, I'm going to be accountable, and I'm gonna do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna make it happen regardless.
For me to be on your boat, I need to take the word deserve, because you're not saying I don't get Bitcoin the price I deserve, right? You're saying this,
No.
like I think your question, the word deserve, like
Different.
I think
Yeah,
that's what the question.
I'm saying that you don't deserve any price. Like you don't deserve anything. Like there's no like deserving price of a Bitcoin. Like if you like you said, like if you like if arrogance like prevented you from buying Bitcoin, then yeah, you get like you deserve you get the price that you deserve. Or if you like decided to take a shot at it, yeah, you get the price that you deserve, absolutely. But there is like a gray area there where it's like, all right, like the human's not born yet, like all right, like maybe like the person who did buy Bitcoin at $200 is not more deserving of that price than the human who isn't born yet. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so deserve, to be worthy of merit, to earn by service, to be worthy, to merit, to serve, to treat, to benefit. So if it is earning, if deserve means that which I earned, everything in my life that I have, I deserve it, including Bitcoin price, including everything else. If the idea of deserve, according to dictionary, is to be worthy or to merit or to earn by service, there is nothing in my life that I have that I do not deserve.
Okay.
I'm just reading the dictionary for you.
I think it's just a certain way to, yeah, I think it's just a certain way to look at like the point of view, because I also see it in like ways of like people sitting there like, oh yeah, you get the price that you deserve. Yeah, I mean, I think in relative scale, like Peter Schiff, yeah, he's going to get the price that he deserves. Warren Buffett is going to get the price that he deserves.
And you're going to get the price you don't deserve? Who is going to get the price they don't deserve? Who is going to get the price?
I think this. I think that if you're a 7-year-old kid and another person is 25 years old, or if they're in their 30s, that person in their 30s is probably more likely to buy Bitcoin than the 7-year-old boy who's like playing with toys. So therefore,
I'm talking about likely. I'm talking about, is the boy at the age of 7 going to get the price that he does not deserve? My question to you, deserve and not deserve.
Again, like
who is going to get what they don't deserve? That's my question.
Yeah, like what I'm saying is it's just he's gonna go into life, he's gonna mature as a kid, and then he's gonna get the price of Bitcoin at whatever the price is. Or
it's gonna be,
which is the price he doesn't deserve.
Or he goes further down the risk curve and he decides to try to repeat what Bitcoin already did before it happened.
My friend, we are talking about deserving. Will he get the price he do not deserve? That's my question for you.
Yeah, the 7-year-old's gonna get the price that they deserve. But I think what Alchemist is alluding to, and I understand exactly the point, is
I understand him. I don't understand the word deserve.
If that 7-year-old was born 7 years earlier and he's a smart guy and he's the next Roger Ver, if that 7-year-old was Roger Ver and he's born 10 years earlier, then he would have gotten a better price. But that's just circumstances, and we're mixing up a little bit with the deserve thing. But they're going to get the price that they deserve. But is it going to be Like if they were born at a different time or something, that's something else, I guess.
Yeah.
I think I get what he's saying. What I don't get it is that he needs to step out of the word deserve to disagree with the word deserve. I would be fully on board with him if you disagree with the word deserve and you use the word do not deserve. I think he's debating two different things. You're debating a circle with a square. Those two are geometrical shapes. But I want to hear someone saying this person didn't get the price they deserve. Because then you are a victim. If you got anything
I'm
in
not
your
gonna
life,
say, you're not gonna hear me saying that. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying that
that's my point.
yeah, they didn't deserve it or they didn't deserve it. It's just the price of what the asset is when the person is in a position to buy it. I'll give you an example, Boo. I'm pretty confident that if I was 10 years older than I am right now, I'd have gotten Bitcoin at a cheaper price. I'm pretty confident about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Say no more. I fully understood you.
It is what it is. And it's
That's
just
exactly what I want you to hear.
I'm not
That's
complaining about it. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not like it is what it is, but it's the truth. It most likely is the truth. I mean, we don't know for
So
sure.
now I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Would you be able to hold it? Because I know someone who bought BTC, thousands of BTC for $1. I personally know this person. I already know the story. I personally know him. I had dinner, had coffee with him. He bought BTC when it was over 1,000 BTC for $1. And one day, BTC went to $22. The guy was a genius, the greatest investor on the planet. He sold it all.
Mhm.
And then when Bitcoin was 200 that came in, he told me this story with tears in his eyes. So it's not about just the price you deserve. Like, would you have held to it, or would you have consumed it? That's the question.
That's not what we're talking about. That's not the conversation that we're having. We're not talking about whether or not you would have held it. But by the way, I probably would have, yeah. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about whether or not that's not could you have held it? Like that's not what we're talking about.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think both sides are pretty much understood, and both of you understand the other. I just think that what Alchemist is trying to say, maybe we should use another word that is not the word deserve. That's it.
No, I think I understood him when he say if he was born 10 years earlier, maybe he would have gotten to Bitcoin. From that point, I understood him completely. I have no more questions.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
What do you understand then? What do you understand?
Yeah, what do you understand that you didn't understand before? What do you mean?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, look. Again, the word deserve, right? So I understand what he's saying. Like he said, listen, there's two ways to argue this, right? I got Bitcoin the price that I deserve. Or let's forget about deserve, for instance, and let's talk about circumstances. So there is, you get Bitcoin the price I deserve and XYZ. When you say to me, I don't agree with the statement of you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve, you need to show to me that you got a Bitcoin at the price you do not deserve. Because that is disagreement with the statement of deserve.
Yep.
He's not disagreeing, he's adding something else parallel to the argument. Does it make sense? I think that's what you're saying. So, because you cannot disagree, if you're a sovereign individual, you cannot disagree that everything that happens in your life, including Bitcoin price, is what you deserve. Unless you are a victim, you're not a sovereign individual. Then it's something different. As sovereign individual, you cannot say this happened to this person, they didn't deserve it. Well, everything is deserved. So I think that is one thing. And
yeah, I think we're getting into semantic weeds, but like I think we both understand like what we're saying.
Yeah. Well, for example, like if you want to talk about, let's see here, came out top of my head now is what you don't deserve is let's say I had a pile of Bitcoin and I somehow something happened and it got left to a relative, right? Who knows nothing. I think they got Bitcoin at a price they don't deserve.
because they know nothing, no research, no nothing. Just fucking got lucky with family genetics.
Yeah.
So I think that's an example of someone who gets something that they don't deserve.
So another reason why I'm talking about deservedness, and I like the point of Joshua, the point I'm talking about deservedness is because I have a profound respect for money. Bitcoin to me is the greatest manifestation of money ever to exist in history. I'm not saying there's not going to be anything better in the future. I'm talking about from the history of money that I know to now, there is no greater manifestation of money that I know of. And we have had feathers, shells, tally sticks, salt. We have so many different manifestations, carved stones, you name it. That's whatever you can, also beads, glass balls. You have like the invention of money, the creation of money have taken many shapes and forms. Of the ones that I know in the history of money, nothing supersedes BTC. Now, and Bitcoin is sovereign money. So the idea that we're talking about sovereign money, which is this thing here, and we're talking about not deserving, like, no. So that's where I'm coming from. This is the greatest expression of money that we ever have had in the history of mankind. Could there be something better tomorrow? Maybe. As of today that I know of, this is the greatest form of it. And invite me to become more aware of sovereignty. And as a sovereign, I can never expect or I alter the words that, oh, this person don't deserve. Now, if you have the money that you don't deserve, we have seen this all the time. Every week in some countries on the planet, many countries on the planet, somebody wins the lotto. And they get millions that they may not deserve. If you have money and money feels that you're not worth of it, it's going to run away from you. Money has a life of its own, and money commands respect. If you have money that you don't deserve nor you respect it, that money is going to go away from you. We have seen many times. People who measure being millionaire or billionaire in terms of fiat currency, look at the lotto winners. They're millionaire for a week, millionaire for a year, millionaire for 2 years in fiat terms, and then they go to minus. Money has an energy and a will of its own. Money is a great servant and a horrible tyrant master. And if you do not come to the point of money where you, in your inner value, equals the value of your money goes away from you. That's what I have seen in my life.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to me. Yeah, I think I agree. Yeah, for sure.
I like that
Laura?
conclusion of deserving. I like that conclusion of deserving. Is not when you get it. It's if your ability to hold it and to keep it. I think that makes more sense if we go to the end of the story. Like with the relatives, just relatives, they're probably gonna lose them because
you're gonna lose it.
They got them. They know nothing about that, so they.
And
spending
one thing to add,
spending Bitcoin is another thing. But yeah, the quote of you get the price. There's a little caveat that I'd like to add there. There is a caveat that I'd like to add. Keeping the Bitcoin, yeah, there's some that's a totally that's a different conversation. So yeah. Yep. If you improve yourself as a person, if you realize if you work on your flaws and stuff, like you have the ability to get it, it won't be too much of a problem to get it again.
And listen, man, anyone is free to hack Satoshi Nakamoto wallet, come with a way to do it, and get Bitcoin at 0.
Well, it's going to be a cost.
Can you do that again? Can you do that thing again? I like what you did.
0. Yeah.
It's definitely crossed my mind.
And it's not just Satoshi's wallet. There's you can get Coinbase custody wallets.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Bitcoin at like much lower cost to a lot of people. Like you're gonna get at the price reserve. You can just have to hack someone or somebody. Like that's it. Anyway, we are here for like 2 hours, guys. So I need to sleep. Jocha is waking up. What I really love about Jocha's pool is like it's a mirror, man, and total transparency.
Boom. Yeah, pretty cool.
I gotta go to sleep. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. Take care.
It was
See
a
you
good
guys around.
conversation. Please subscribe to the channel.
Oh yes,
Join
very
the
important. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel and also click the like button if you did like the video, and stay tuned for more. Click the notification bell as well.
People will subscribe if you deserve it. You just
I agree with that one. If you think I deserve it, click the subscription button. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Bye.
ciao, ciao.